The sampler looks at a waveform, signal waveform, which I'm going to build next. And it also looks at a Boolean array, which is assumed to have the same number of sample points as the signal of interest. And every place that the Boolean array contains a true, we extract that value from the signal and produce that as the output. An additional input of interest here is the delay, and that can be used to shift the sampling instance in both the positive and the negative direction. Let's consider that issue first. Probably the easiest way to shift the entire Boolean waveform is the rotator. And the rotate is nice because it supports both positive and negative rotation directions, or shifts, if you will. Alright, now that we've got the sampling instance taken care of, let's go ahead and place a for loop structure to process each signal on a point, or process the signal on a point-by-point basis. Within the case structure, we have one of two possibilities. Either grab a value from the sample or from the signal because we're supposed to be sampling at that point, or simply keep the list of the sample points that have been collected so far. And index array will be used to actually extract the sample point at the proper location, because as the for loop advances, that index terminal in the lower right of the for loop is keeping track of where we are at the moment that the sampling instant becomes true. So I've extracted the signal as just a 1D array of points that we pass into index array. And then the method of accumulating points for our output is based on the build array node. We set that to concatenate specifically. The output then is passed through the case structure, and just a brief timeout there, and connecting then to the for loop structure. I want to replace that with a shift register, and that keeps track then of the accumulated array of samples. So anytime that case structure evaluates true, it grabs the present index, which is given by our for loop, and then picks off that sample from signal in. Now we need to ensure that the array always starts fresh at the beginning, so I'll initialize that with the constant. And the index, as I mentioned earlier, is taken from the index terminal down in the lower left. Now that little white or hollow tunnel is an indicator that not all of the case structure panes have been completed yet. So we'll do simply a pass-through whenever the Boolean value is false.